hello, good afternoon. All right, I'm gonna try that again. Hold on one second. Hello, good afternoon. So much better. I am your moderator, Angelique Roche, and I, without further ado, would like to bring to the stage the one, the only, Brie Larson. Yeah, they're here for you. We had people up in the stands.
Wow, I didn't know there'd be so many people.
So many. Just for you.
I feel like
Just for you.
Swift right now. Hi.
All right, so first question. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It's been fabulous. How's everybody else? Good?
You are not a stranger to Comic-Cons. You're not a stranger to taking the pictures and doing the autographs. And you've also done so many things in your lifetime. Model, music, movies, producer, across the board. Do you just love what you do? Like, seriously, I know that's like a softball question, but I always see you smile when we're having these conversations and there's a delight in your face, you know, and what is it that you love about the work that you get to do?
I just love this earth, and I love being here, and I like spending my time getting to know people, getting to know humanity, getting to know this earth for as long as I have the time. So I'm just interested in packing my experience with goodness. And on top of it, I knew what I wanted to do very young, and that's not the case for a lot of people. So it put me on this trajectory, and it's not only that I have this dream, but that I also get to live it. So I feel very grateful for that, and being in spaces like this, it's an incredible reminder that art does have a place, that it can mean something to people in ways that I don't even know. I'm learning when I'm talking to all of you about how Carol or how all these other characters have impacted their life in ways that I couldn't have imagined, and I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful for that. So anytime I have someone come up to me and say, like, you're amazing, and like, it takes one to know one, I'm just a reflection of everybody else. I don't consider myself to be particularly special. I just think I'm interested in my experience. Yeah.
And across that experience, obviously because you knew very early on what you want to do, you've had this opportunity to play so many different roles and so many different iconic characters that we love, right? Whether it's me, who first saw you in Scott Pilgrim, for you, now that you've got this experience under your belt and you're an award-winning, you know, actor, what do you look for in the roles you want to play? Are there any stories that you're still interested in particularly telling at this phase in your career?
The truth is I just never know. I get sent things, I'm reading scripts, and I don't know until it hits, and the closest I can describe it is like having, when you fall in love, when you have a crush, and it hits you and you're like, I don't know why now in this situation, but it's happening, and then it's all you see and all you think about. That's what it's like for me when I'm choosing a role, because it requires a lot of time and a lot of sacrifice to do it. It's a complicated job, and I go all in. You know, I like to prep for like 9 months for things, so it has to be something that I really want to spend time with. And then in situations like this where I get to meet people, it reminds me of being careful about what imagery I'm putting out in the world. I can't control the way everybody's going to take everything, but I can try my best to have solid intent with what I'm doing, because these films live on well beyond me. You know, they can be on planes and in your living room and all these places that I'm not there afterwards to do a Q&A, so they need to stand on their own and give you something to think about or a reminder of some kind.
And I love that you brought up this idea that you train, like you really step into a role, and that was something I think a lot of us got to see a little bit that inside you preparing for Captain Marvel. I know you can't tell us much, but I have to ask because there are people waiting, anticipating. Let's just get it out of the way. Let's get it out of the way. So there's a little movie called The Marvels. and it's you, aka Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, and of course, the Kamala Khan. What, if anything, can you tell us about this film?
I sure can tell you that it is a film, and I can tell you that those people that you've seen and you talked about, they're in it, and it will come out. And
this year, I hear.
Yes,
yes.
Thank goodness, and because I can't keep these secrets any longer, people, we gotta get this movie out.
Gotta go. I hear it's gonna be in theaters.
It sure will be in theaters,
Yeah.
and I would just hate to spoil any of it. You know, it would just be so wrong.
For the record, I asked and I tried. Okay, so I do want to say, wow, there's 3 of y'all. And that's such an incredible lineup because getting to meet Tiana in WandaVision and getting to meet, like, the all-star that is Iman. How on earth did you keep a straight face at all filming this movie?
Surely did not. Surely did not. Was not part of the program. This was always part of the conversation from the very beginning with Captain Marvel. Kevin and I talked about this very early on. I was like, this is the only way, because it's just impossible to imagine this concept that there's one person that's like in charge of the world between destruction and life. It's like, no, that's not how life works. Like, we're all here and we all have something that we can do. It's not just one person. And so with this, it was such a delight to be able to work with 2 just absolute, incredible, inside and out, like incredible. And it gets into the nuance of everybody having their piece and that it requires all of us to work together. And it's fun. I think the movie is going to be heartfelt and funny and badass at the same time. It's just the perfect mix of all these things, so I'm excited to share it.
We will be watching in November, literally all of us. So let's talk about something you can talk about, and that's family.
I love to talk about family.
One specific family.
Yes.
Because it is all about family.
It always was, and it always will be.
So you joined one of my all-time favorite series.
Me too.
Right? Yes.
Me too.
Right? Like, how
to be in this movie.
I was just like, wait, who's in the movie? Okay, so you also get to play Mr. Nobody's daughter, which is like, you didn't just walk in and be like, oh, I just have this role. No, I'm Mr. Nobody's daughter. And you come in and you play this ever mysterious kind of all-knowing, where did she come from role. I gotta say, what was it like stepping into this franchise that's kind of decades old? Because they've known, a lot of them have known each other for decades now and have played these roles. Like, did you just geek out the whole time?
Oh, yeah. I lucked out, though. Right when I was cast, Ben reached out and invited me over for dinner with his family, which was remarkable. And I was probably not very cool because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm here. And so from the very beginning, he was having me hang out with these cast members that I've been obsessed with for forever. And it just made things really comfortable. So that by the time I was on set, it wasn't like, nice to meet you, I'm Brie, a big fan. It was already, I knew everybody. And so we just got to get into all the fun stuff of playing and collaborating and talking, because all of that initial nervousness was gone. We'd already dealt with it. And so we got to have fun, and I got to watch these characters. I mean, yeah. Oh, I guess I can't talk about it now.
You can talk about all of it.
I'm just, Marvel has really made me go like, I can't talk about anything. But I can.
Oh no, we can get it streaming in our house.
Okay,
now.
yeah, of course. There was a moment where Vin handed me the Toretto cross, and I did in rehearsal. It was the most unprofessional I've ever been in my life. I fell over. I could not continue doing the scene. I blacked out. I couldn't believe it.
Because it's the Toretto. It's the Toretto cross.
It is the cross. I mean, that's iconic. Iconic. I held it in my hands many times.
I'm just happy that I got to shake that hand. I feel.
You shook the hand that held the cross.
Look, I'm great.
Yes, exactly. I remember you wearing it yesterday. Thank you.
But I love the fact that even beyond all the things that you've done, the awards, the movies, the accolades, you were still kind of a fangirl in this moment.
Of course. No, you can't take that out of me. I don't think I'm cooler than any of this.
Oh, no one's cooler than Vin Diesel. So, the other thing is, you've been doing some really cool voice acting roles. One in particular, because I mentioned Scott Pilgrim. You're going to be reprising Miss Adams.
Yeah, Envy's coming back.
Oh, how do you feel about it? How much fun? Like, have you? I don't.
It's yeah, I've completed my portion of the program.
Okay.
But it was really fun and strange and exciting and scary to have to go back to something. I think I was like 19 when we did that movie, something like that.
Bunch of young
go in the
actors.
mirror and be like, how did I do that voice? How did I do that? And like try and replicate it again. I've never had to do that, so it was fun, and I'm very excited about it. I hope that I did right by her. I tried.
I'm very excited to see. And I always love looking at that movie because it's like, man, a lot of y'all became superheroes.
Yeah, that was pre that.
I was like, there's a Superman in there, there's a Captain America, there's
Yep.
a Captain Marvel. That was a movie. And so for
That was a movie.
That was a movie.
That was a movie.
So for you, like, do you feel like there are more voice acting roles in your future?
Yeah. I mean, I don't have anything planned. If anyone out there wants to cast me as a voice of something, I'm here for it. I love an animated film. Always makes me cry. Consistently, animated films make me weep.
Okay.
I never was able to finish Frozen because I couldn't stop crying.
What?
No, I should probably try to return. I saw the Frozen 2. I was like, I can't deal with
You
Frozen.
couldn't finish the first one.
I was crying for the first 15 minutes and was like, I guess I gotta turn this off.
That was me and Coco. I get it.
Oh yeah, Coco's a lot too.
I saw Coco on a plane. So that being said, we got some fan questions. Let's skip ahead before we start talking about animated movies that make us cry.
Unless that's one of the questions. Happy to talk about it more.
So Fernanda Pinheiro from São Paulo, Brazil, at Capt Marvel BR. What would you say is Carol's greatest strength, and what about her greatest weakness?
They go hand in hand. I think that part of her weakness is that she can be very, very headstrong, and she can dive into a situation before really thinking it through. It means that she can be very brash and can say things that are hurtful. But the thing that I've loved about her and I've loved playing her is that she apologizes. I think that's a really important thing, to be able to see honest apology. And for a superhero to recognize that a superhero can make mistakes, a superhero can do wrong, and you can also acknowledge it, apologize, and say, I'm going to do whatever I can to make it right. And that, to me, is a very powerful thing to see in these films. Because it's not about perfection. You know, I am not perfect. I don't think I've ever played a perfect character, and if I did, that would be a joke. It's not possible. So I think it's important these are the moments where I feel like it humanizes her to remind us all that she has not done it perfectly. She's deeply flawed, and she's working on herself just like everybody else.
And I love that because I think sometimes we forget the first time we meet Carol, it's the 90s. And then when we meet her again, we fast forwarded decades. And seeing that evolution take place and seeing that moment where it's like, oh yeah, I'm not perfect. I'm not great at this. It's amazing. So we have Duda Vieira from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, at Breeze Arve. Lessons in Chemistry. It's the most anticipated project, along with the Marvels. What can fans expect from these projects, and do Elizabeth and Carol have any similarities?
I'm so excited for Lessons in Chemistry to come out. It's just so beautiful, and I love the story so much, and playing Elizabeth was an absolute pleasure. I learned so much about myself while playing her. What do they have in common? I think that they have this thing in them where they will not be made small. And I learned it first when I played Carol, that there is a bit of like a fake it till you make it. Like, you're playing her, and I'm in these situations where, I'm standing up as her, learning how to stand strong, and I felt like it changed me. Because my job is, it's like I'm doing slices of life. And so when you're in a moment with somebody, even though it's not real, you get to know what it's like to stand up for yourself, to say what you believe in, to fight for somebody who doesn't have the ability to fight for themselves. It does change you. It does live inside of you. It also means that some of the hard stuff that I've done lives in me too. But it's incredible to experience it. I get the opportunity to live many lives in this one life, and through that I get a variation of experience that is just unmatched. It's very special.
And I love that you acknowledge there is good and there's bad.
Of course, of course.
I think sometimes we forget that because we see the characters on screen and we don't remember there is a person behind that character who also had a challenge in bringing that person to screen. So, Faith from New Zealand, I was wondering, what is your favorite way to express yourself creatively outside of your job? Do you enjoy painting, writing, or doing something else? And how do you fuel your creativity and find inspiration in your everyday life besides backpacking and going around the world?
I just live a very creative life. So I garden and I cook, and it's part of, playing Elizabeth Zott means that I got very interested in like the details of cooking again. And so these things that are in my everyday life become a little bit more illuminated through these characters that I'm playing. But yes, I draw, I paint, I knit, I needlepoint, I darning. Listen, any sort of weird Etsy hobby, I've done it. I've done it all at this point. But recently, dance has been a huge thing for me. I dance most of the day these days. Yeah.
I love it, but also highly therapeutic.
Dance?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, incredible. Yeah.
So Richard Wagerfields from New York, do you stay in contact with the teenagers from your documentary Growing Up? It deserves an Emmy and should be free to watch now on YouTube. It's too important.
It's very sweet. Those brilliant angels in Growing Up, I will always be in touch with and in contact with. They taught me so much, and I'm just incredibly indebted to them for their bravery of just being so vulnerable and true, and they've only just become like even more themselves and more incredible. When we were doing press for that show, I was like, what? Like, you're so wise and funny and clear, and I wish I had that at that age. It's so special. So if you haven't seen it, I do recommend it. It's such a special show.
So we got a couple more. Mark Vargas from San Antonio, Texas. You're an Academy Award winner. Hey! I love when I get to ask questions from somebody who's here. This was not planted. You're an Academy Award winner. You're a superhero, and you're Envy Adams. Yes, you are. You are indeed. What is a role that you've yet to play that you're interested in doing?
Not sure. Should I take requests from the audience?
Does the audience
what
have
should
requests?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I mean, you've done a lot.
I'm sure I haven't done it all, but I mean, I've done some things. Oh, of course.
I mean, who says no to Star Wars?
I want to be a Jedi. I forget that I'm actually not a Jedi because I live my life like I'm a Jedi. I've been begging to be a Jedi.
I want this for her. She would kind of be a badass Jedi.
Yes, put Sam and I together. Sam and I as Jedis, make it happen.
You and Sam together anytime, all the time.
Of course. That's all we want to do is work together. We got to plan out the next couple of years.
Oh, that's another conversation. So, 3 more questions. Javon Velus from San Francisco, California. If you could spend a day with a character you've acted as in their respective universe, such as Carol, Tess from Fast and Furious, or even Envy, who would you want to hang with and why? Oh, they just went into the psyche. You know,
Yeah,
Diana's just
well,
like, I don't know how
I
to feel
immediately
about
went
this.
to like Carol just has so much access, like to other,
To everywhere.
to like places I don't even know about.
Yeah, look, we don't know all of Carol's powers right now.
I don't know what's going on.
Yes. I mean, she literally decides to go to space. She goes to space.
She can just go. So I just remember that in like the comic too, when she'd be able to like hover in between space and Earth, and I was like, that's a cool spot to be.
Yeah, you're just
That's
looking
awesome.
down.
If I like, so if the question is like, where would I want to go there and like skydive with her?
Oh.
That would be cool.
Skydiving with Carol Danvers. Carol Danvers from like literally.
Yeah, from that point. And Carol's like having, you know, it's like her lunch break or something. Like, it's fine. She's not going to be like, oh, sorry, I got to go do something.
It's like, I'll be right back.
She does do that a lot. She loves to be like, okay, great, I got to go. Like, where is she going?
Yeah, she's that one friend.
And she's there at the end. She's not like, I got to go.
No, Carol's that one friend that you're not sure what she actually does for a living.
She's always French exiting. She's always just like, yeah, so everything's good, I got to go.
Yep. I'll see you next time.
Love to answer that question for all of you.
Scarlett Kahn from Toronto, Canada. I love Unicorn Store. You did an amazing job, both directing and starring in that movie. Do you want to direct more in the future?
Yeah, I sure do. Similar to with acting, I don't feel like it's a thing that I have a choice in. It comes.
Yeah.
Unicorn Store was like, I did it because I knew that was the story that I wanted to tell, and I was the one to tell that story. And so it feels like a responsibility. And similarly with growing up, it was like, this is a story that's important to me, so I want to direct an episode of this because it's important. There's a responsibility. So I don't have anything planned yet, but it just, you know, I don't really have a plan. I think when I sit up on a stage, it seems like, wow, she knows what she's doing. I don't. I super don't. Like,
relatable.
Yeah, it's just what it is, though. It's like, that's not how the creative life works. You don't get to quantify it. It just comes when it comes, and I just follow it.
I love that because one of the questions I kind of want to follow up with, just to add on, for you, do you feel like having the perspective as a director now impacts you
Absolutely.
being, you know, in that role of an actor, and how?
I think whether or not, if there's anybody out here that wants to be an actor, I would say you don't necessarily have to direct to get to this place, but I would say it's absolutely important to get interested in every other job that's on set, because you start to understand that you are just one piece. Making a film, making a show, it is a team sport, but it's like a team sport that we act like isn't a team sport. Everybody kind of keeps to themselves, tries to make it easy, and I don't think that's the way. I think that it's important to have like big conversations of like, it doesn't matter, you know, I remember doing Kong Skull Island, and it's like huge big budget movie, and it's raining and we can't film. It's like, it doesn't matter how much money you have, there's still gonna be things that happen that are outside of our control. We have to work as a team. And so now that I have this understanding of, it's little things, it's like, oh, if I stop one more time as we're doing a walk and talk and I stop again in line, that's gonna be a couple hours worth of coverage. Like, do we have time for that? Is it worth it? If I know that the lighting team has spent all weekend lighting something, I'd like to know what their plan was and accommodate that. I don't need to come in and be like, oh no, I want to be over there. And they're like, but we spent all weekend for you to be over there. It's just a conversation, and I think it's a very special thing when you live from an I don't know place. If someone says, what do you want to do? And I say, I don't know, what did you have planned? And you see this light in their eyes where they're like, actually, because they thought of it. They've been thinking about it, they have a dream, and that's what I'm interested in. There are times when I have ideas too, but like, it's all part of like a larger picture, and everything is connected. And then on top of it, if you get to go through to the end and edit yourself, you learn a lot about what you're giving or not giving, because a lot of times you don't get that feedback. You don't know what colors you're giving your director or producers to paint with, and so it's helpful because you start to know what are the things that are actually worth worrying about and what are the things that I'm like, it's okay. So it helps me understand like multiple levels of like time and space, I guess, within a given moment. But I just like information anyway. Some people don't. I want to know everything that's happening.
That was a great answer.
No, like, long, sorry.
No, absolutely.
Thank you. I'm a nerd, so I can talk about this stuff all day.
And I think that's always the best part of these conversations is when people love your portrayal of characters, there are things that go into creating the backstory, thinking about the timing, why did you do this, you know, why was there 3 takes that gave all of these different impressions? And so thank you for that answer. So we have one more fan question. Eduardo Aguilar from Laredo, Texas. Texas, we see you, because literally we're in Texas. When Carol is fighting on the train, she pulls down Stan Lee's booklet and they exchange a tender smile. What was your experience like with him on set? P.S. You're doing a marvelous job.
Thank you. It was just totally surreal.
I mean, the Stan Lee.
Yeah. It was also like the hottest day in like history or something in Los Angeles that day, so it was a very memorable because it was like really extreme conditions. We had been filming on this train for a while, but he came in and was like super professional, super easy. I don't, you know, those are just moments where you're kind of a little bit outside of your body going like, oh, this is happening right now. And it's also like you have to shut it down a little bit because you're like, this is happening and I can't talk about this for a year and a half. So I'm just going to store that somewhere far, far away. And that's how it works. So thank you for the reminder that did happen.
You're like,
I didn't dream that happened.
It's been in a compartment for years.
Just pulled it out.
I know that you have a lot of autographs and a lot of pictures and a lot of folks to see. So I want to thank you so much for joining us on stage today.
Thank you for being here. I hope you're having so much fun. I've met some of you, but I'll see you all.
And so let's get...
What, you want me to spoil more things? Okay, I don't think that I'm allowed to just be like, I'm the director of Fast 2.
I mean, look, you don't know what'll happen until you ask.
I should probably get this audio, send it to the powers
Yeah,
of me,
just
and say,
you have
sorry,
it now.
this is what's happening.
You have it now. This is what the people want. Let's give another round of applause for the incredible Brie Larson.
Thank you so much.